Hey, can you make a film that does not offend God and still tell the truth? On the Middle East, a movie screen is a minefield. Every shot, every line of dialogue, every gesture is a potential declaration. Religious, political, cultural, and sometimes a death sentence. Today we go behind the curtain of Arab cinema, from censorship and self-censorship to Ramadan Prime Time to Halal Hollywood. A world where film lives under supervision, yet somehow still speaks. Welcome. This will be a journey into a cinema you've never seen. Let's begin. In the Middle East, film is not just a story, it is a battlefield. Imagine a director sitting in a cafe in Tunis, one hand on a coffee cup, the other on a pen. He writes a love story, a woman who wants a divorce, a man terrified of his own religion, a child who sees more than adults. He writes and deletes, writes and deletes. Because he knows every line, every gesture, every shadow of a woman's hand could decide whether the film will ever be made, or whether he himself will be called a blasphemer or a Western agent. Welcome to Halalwood, a place where the camera trembles not from emotion, but from fear. In the US or UK, film is entertainment, business, prestige, a market. Here film is confession, a political declaration, a religious declaration, a sexual declaration, a declaration of identity, and often a declaration of your verdict. In the Arab world, from Morocco to Iraq, the screen is not a window. It is a mirror, but only if the censor allows you to hang it. How much does a film cost in Saudi Arabia? Millions. But money is not the problem. The problem is the decision. Can you show a woman with her hair exposed? Can your heroine walk into a mosque and light a candle? Can a man cry? And if yes, should the tear fall from the right eye or the left? Absurd? No. Regulation. In Egypt, a special unit under the Ministry of Culture approves scripts. In Saudi Arabia, some films are reviewed by Islamic scholars. In Iran, a movie may get approval and then still be banned. In Syria, the state orders films like People Order Soup in a Diner, make something about the war, the victims, about Bashar. No violence, no vulgarity, no facts. And yet, cinema lives. Egypt, a nation that watches movies the way others drink tea, still fills theaters even knowing they will never see everything. Lebanon, where freedom and conservatism coexist in a single frame, produces films raw, bold, filled with nudity and truth. Palestine, where directors risk their lives to show everyday occupation. And Saudi Arabia, where cinema returned after decades of prohibition, with glitter and with limits. But it's not just about what you can see, it's about what you cannot see. You will not see a relationship between two women. You will not see an Arab atheist. You will not see a woman saying, "I don't want children." You will not see a Muslim who loses faith. And if you do, it will be at a film festival in Berlin or London. In an Arab country, only illegally, on a USB stick, on Telegram, during a home screening with the curtains tightly drawn. In the West, Hollywood censors itself to sell films in China, Saudi Arabia, or the UAE. Reduced kisses, removed LGBT scenes, deleted religious lines, because a market worth billions must not be offended. But is this still a film or a product? Maybe both. In the Arab versions of Bohemian Rhapsody, no homosexuality. In the Avengers, the lesbian character disappears. In Top Gun, flags become politically neutral. The screen adjusts to the viewer, or rather, to the viewer's censor. But there are exceptions. Tunisia, with a long feminist film tradition. Lebanon, where a single movie can include a drag queen, a priest, and an imam. Palestine, where the camera becomes a weapon and the film becomes testimony. And there are names: Nadine Labaki, Hani Abu Assad, Haifa al-Mansour, creators who proved that Arab cinema can be honest, brave, and loud, even when the world wants it silent. This episode will be different. We won't just show what is allowed and what is forbidden. We will show why. We will show who decides what may not be shown. And we will show what happens when someone crosses the line. Because a screen is not just a screen, it is a front. It is a mirror. It is a scream. And if you listen closely, you can hear the things no one is allowed to say. Let's begin. Who censors the Arab screen? Before anyone sits in a cinema, before the first clap on set, someone must say, "Yes, you may." In the Arab world, cinema does not begin in a studio. It begins in an office, sometimes modern, with a ministry logo, sometimes old, with a portrait of a king or president. But everywhere applies the same rule: no film without permission. Egypt, the oldest film-producing republic in the Arab world, has the general authority for censorship. Born under the monarchy, hardened under Nasser, alive to this day, it may say, "This film will not be made. This character must die earlier. This woman must wear a headscarf." This line sounds too much like criticism. A 2022 example. A social drama about domestic violence approved only after 4 months of negotiations. One scene had to be removed, a husband hitting his wife in front of their child. "Too much," said the commission. And this is the liberal case. Saudi Arabia banned cinemas entirely from 1980 to 2018. After radical Islamists seized the Grand Mosque in Mecca, the state shut down all theaters. Official reason: protecting society from the corruption of moving images. Cinema returned only with Mohammed bin Salman, but under strict regulations. Every script must pass review. Religious committees assess whether characters behave morally. No intimacy, no kisses, no LGBT hints. Even marriage arguments may be rejected if they sound too real. Syria? There the censor is loyalty. Without ties to the regime, you get no actors, no camera, no license. The state orders propaganda scripts like office memos. Make a film about a heroic soldier. And directors comply. To survive. The UAE is elegant, but strict. The National Media Council bans anything that offends religion, family, or the ruler. Cuts of 20 minutes are normal. In Titanic, all bedroom scenes vanished. In Bohemian Rhapsody, Freddie's sexuality disappeared. In Avengers Endgame, LGBT references are gone. But the most dangerous censor is self-censorship. In Egypt, you may be banned. In Syria, you may vanish. In Saudi, you may face charges. In Morocco, clerics may attack you. In Lebanon, you may face Hezbollah's veto. Red lines exist, but are never written. They live in the mind, and artists draw them inside their skulls to protect their careers, families, passports, lives. That is why so many films look similar. Drama, moral struggle, repentance, resolution. The woman becomes modest. The man stops drinking. The rebel apologizes. Society forgives. This is not cinema. This is ritual. And yet, some cross the lines. Independent directors, young immigrants, Lebanese rebels, Tunisian feminists, Palestinian documentarians. They shoot guerrilla style. No permits, no support, no protection. And in their films, we finally see the real Middle East. Unfiltered, undiluted, alive. Because in the Arab world, the censor sits not only in an office, but in the creator's soul. And yet beneath the fear and restrictions, rebellion glows. The camera still rolls, the microphone still listens, and as long as someone wants to tell the truth, even encrypted, the screen does not belong only to Big Brother. It belongs to the viewer. How does Ramadan Prime Time work? The Arab Netflix on steroids. Imagine December in the US or UK, lights, trees, holiday specials, the same movies everyone watches together. Now move to the Middle East. It's spring. Ramadan begins, the holiest month, a time of prayer, reflection, and massive TV viewership. Because in the Arab world, Ramadan is premiere season. It is Netflix multiplied by 10. Big budgets, massive casts, 30-episode arcs, more viewers than news, football, and TikTok combined. This is Ramadan Prime Time, a spectacle with a headscarf and a soul. Why Ramadan? Because daily life shifts. People work shorter hours, sleep during the day, eat only after sunset, and in the evening, after iftar, families sit together, and the serial begins, followed by another and another. Every country prepares its champion. Egypt, historical dramas. Syria, moral family sagas. Lebanon, doomed romances. Saudi Arabia, sitcom-style dramas about modern women without dating scenes. Morocco, rags to riches stories, but modestly. All aligned with Islamic values. No controversy. Characters must end morally purified. But Ramadan is also when taboo topics sneak in. Egypt's El Ekhtiar, an ISIS war drama doubling as state propaganda. Saudi Arabia's Exit 7, a modern sitcom with moral lessons baked in. Lebanese shows, bolder, sensual, emotional, but censored when exported to GCC states. Sometimes shows disappear entirely. Netflix's Jinn, filmed in Jordan, sparked outrage because a girl kisses a boy in a schoolyard. Parliament condemnation, clerical denunciations, threats to the crew. The show survived, but discourse around it was buried. Ramadan dramas follow a formula. By the end, the characters marry, reconcile, repent, return to tradition, or rediscover faith. No loose ends, no moral ambiguity. Everything must heal. Like Christmas movies, but halal. Advertisements? Enormous money. A 30-second Ramadan ad in Egypt in 2023 cost as much as a premium SUV. Sponsors include food giants, Islamic banks, perfume brands, and state programs. This isn't just business, it's soft power. But sometimes, a miracle happens. A series breaks the mold, shows a woman who does not return to her husband, a man who stays distant from the mosque, a family that truly falls apart. Such shows appear in Tunisia, sometimes Morocco, rarely Lebanon, and usually vanish after one season. But they remain unforgettable. They show that during Ramadan, millions of viewers may finally see themselves, and not just who they are supposed to be. Halal Hollywood. Can you make cinema that pleases God? In Hollywood, a film begins with a script. In Bollywood, with a song. In Halalwood, with a question. Does this offend God? It's not rhetorical. It's foundational. Religion defines the frame, supervises the script, and limits the lens. The most sensitive topic. Can you show the prophet? Short answer, no. Long answer, depends who you ask. In Sunni Islam, no depictions whatsoever. Not his face, voice, or silhouette. Not even a suggestion. This made even The Message controversial, the 1970s religious epic that never showed Muhammad directly. Countries banned it. Protests erupted. The director, Mustafa Akkad, later died in a bombing, not because of the film, but because he symbolized cultural dialogue. Iran, with Shia flexibility, produces grand religious epics. Yusuf-e-Payambar, the prophet Joseph, became wildly popular across the region, modest, pious, and filled with coded sensuality expressed only through glances and shadows. This is the key. Show everything by showing nothing. Saudi Arabia invests in polished religious productions via the Misk Foundation. Educational, historical, doctrinal, but also soft power PR for the West. The message, we are guardians of faith, and modern. Halal cinema also covers spiritual everyday life. Wajda, directed by Haifa al-Mansour, about a girl who wants a bicycle. Innocent on the surface, quietly revolutionary underneath. Celebrated in Cannes, cautiously screened at home. Taboo topics, not just sex or alcohol, but also criticism of clergy, women's religious roles, LGBT themes, atheism, apostasy, domestic abuse. If a filmmaker wants to say these things, they must speak in metaphor. A woman losing faith becomes a woman losing touch with her family. A gay man becomes a man who feels different. A doubter becomes someone who no longer understands everything. It is a coded language, censorship turned into literature, and viewers understand the code. Is it good? Depends. For some, it is cinema of values. For others, cinema of control. Perhaps both. Halal Hollywood is an experiment. Can you make modern cinema with no sex, no profanity, no rebellion, and still make it compelling? In the Arab world, this is a daily artistic question. Because failure is not only artistic, it is moral, sometimes legal, sometimes deadly. And yet, cinema persists. Because people need stories. They want to see themselves. They want catharsis, even if coded. And not everyone wants Hollywood's version of liberation. Halal Hollywood is not an alternative world. It is a parallel one, where the screen must be pure, but not dead. Where every frame is inspected, yet emotion still breaks through. Where the censor sits in your soul, yet the story still fights to be told. On a screen, on a USB stick, under a blanket, in secret, but alive. If you enjoyed this episode, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. It tells me you want more stories about cultures that speak softer than the West. But when they speak, they shake you to the core. In the next episode, we will venture even deeper into Arab media and censorship. See you, and hear you, soon.